Hi ho, I am Glass and today we will talk about pluses to be born in Russia. So I made several videos about such similar topics, but today I got some different view on things, and of course main plus of being born in Russia is Russian language. Because Russian language, it's very hard to learn Russian language. It's a very beautiful language, and also we have huge amount of Russian literature, which right now I'm studying it again after school. Right now I'm 36 years old, and I still want, right now I want to repeat through all classics, through all Russian classics, because with age you start understanding it differently. And actually what I wanted to start, I wanted to start that, to say that actually in any country you could be lucky or unlucky. You could be born in some unhappy family, in some very poor family where your parents are bad people, or they may be drug users, or they may be alcoholics. So in every country you have chances to be in bad situation when you're a child. But yeah, in Russia actually I'll say it's quite medium. For example, in Europe there are better institutions if you were unlucky to be born in without parents or with a family which has some problems. So in Russia we do not have we do not have good governmental services for children in hard situation or for some poor families. So yeah, in Russia poverty is very serious problem. But of course there are countries which has much worse situation, like African countries or some Asian countries. They are poorer than Russia, much poorer. So Russia is kind of some mediocre in these conditions of life, I'll say, around the world. But at the same time, Russia it's country of possibilities. As it's very young capitalistic country, we have very we have not really a strong law base. So if you are, for example, businessman, you could find the way to earn a lot of money, for example. So it's young capitalistic country. And right now Russia it's even not just capitalistic, it's governmental capitalism country. So all big business, it's almost everything big business, it's obtained by government or people connected to government. So oligarchs, we have governmental capitalism. That's it. It's our system right now. So what about pluses? Let's go back. So I wanted to say that there are places much worse than Russia and places which are better than Russia in terms of if you were unlucky to be born in family which got some problems. So yeah. At the same time, what I could say, the possibility that I myself was born in Russia Could I say that it was luck for me? If I would have chance, would I roll to be born in some other country? It's a big question, because I'm not sure. Even though, yeah, Russia, it's not easy country to live if you were not lucky to be born in a wealthy family, I'll say it like this. So, but the thing is that Russia gives you very special experience, and when you lived in Russia for some time, and for example, if you will go to Europe or some other more developed countries, more developed in terms of social interactions, in interactions between socium and government. So with two countries with better management, I'll say. So actually, quality of life in every country right now, it depends of quality of management. People who run the country, not like the president, but actually the system. And as Russia is a very young country, like 30 years old, actually, I mean modern Russia, 30 years only. And for these 30 years, before we had USSR with some special stuff. So for 30 years, our society, our laws, our governmental system, it's very flawed. It's not really good. So in comparison to some European countries which has this democracy and capitalistic approach, they have it for centuries, and we have it only for 30 years. So, yeah. But it gives you very good experience of living in Middle Ages, I'll say, yeah. Because, for example, 90s in Russia, it was a time where a lot of mafia on the streets, and it was really dangerous times. Right now, there are not so much mafia on the streets in big cities, for example, Moscow. But still, I mean, it's young capitalistic country, and that's it. It's kind of special experience, very rough experience actually. And as I am quite creative person, I am artist, so for me, living in country where everything already polished, already perfect, it will be quite boring. I mean, okay, it will be super comfortable, and right now I'll be glad to move somewhere to the Netherlands, for example, and live there if I could, but it's not possible really for artists to move to such countries. It's just not possible because of the bureaucracy, because I can't get permit to live in the Netherlands, for example. So, but still, if I'll have to choose to be born again in Russia or in the Netherlands, it will be a big question for me. Even though right now I'll think that, okay, I want to live right now in the Netherlands, but to be born and to have this experience, it's a big question. I may prefer to be born in Russia, actually, again, and go through all the sufferings and go through all this stuff, but at the same time, be Russian. Be Russian, because it's a very special thing to go through all this unusual stuff which we have in our country. Actually, interesting thing that Russian diversity of your life, it's even, you could feel it in the weather. In Russia we have very cold, in Moscow for example, very cold winters like minus 20, minus 30 degrees Celsius sometimes. We have very hot summer, minus 30, minus 40 sometimes, plus degrees Celsius. So very hot very cold winter, very hot summer, very beautiful and rainy spring, and beautiful golden autumn. So actually, these times of year, they give good characteristics of Russian life. Living in Russia, it's give you a lot of full range of emotions, from super happy to super sorrowful. You see very good things, you see very bad things, and you participate in these things. You can't run from it if you live in this country. So for artists, it's very good experience because you get inspiration from it, from this wide range of good and bad, evil and kindness. You get all spectrum of this stuff. Because, for example, when I lived in the Netherlands for 2 or 3 years, it's a beautiful country, the most beautiful place which I visited in my life. But it's very constant there. It's like, if you read Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, it's like Lorien. Netherlands, it's like Lorien. It's quite the same all the time. Okay, it has kind of not too warm summer, not too cold winter, and all people there, most of them, they are quite kind, and everything in order. Everything has its own purpose. Everything calm, and I like it. I like it very much. For me, with my big range of emotions, living in the Netherlands, it's like having it's like I can concentrate at my artistic stuff. I do not have to care about my safety. I do not have to care about going to the streets when it's dark. It's not dangerous in the Netherlands. Okay, so such stuff. So it's very comfortable for me to live there, but I'm not sure that I, for example, wanted to start it again. And the big question for me right now, do I want my children, if they will exist someday, do I want my children to live in Russia, to be grown in Russia, or in some more safe environment, I'll call it. From one hand, I do not like Russian schools. They're kind of USSR schools. You could meet their good teachers, but it's very rare. And kind of our school, Russian schools, I do not like it. It's a place where your children bones become broken. I mean, internal bones, not real bones, like their soul, their mind. School, it's awful place, but actually, even though it's awful place, I myself, when I got through it, it was like school of life. I didn't stop to become artistic person, I didn't become soldier in this. But actually, the thing is that I was in school. I went to school in 90s. In the 90s, we didn't had such USSR backflip like we have right now. So I think right now our school is much worse than 90s in terms of a lot of propaganda there. But yeah, I think it's possible to find proper school. The thing is that also I'm not sure that I like values of modern people in Russia. I mean, in our time, when I was at school, our values, values like stuff which you appreciate, like meaning of life. When I was a teenager, my meaning of life, it was freedom. It was like we all the time we played guitars. Okay, we drink some vodka and beer in school. It's stupid, of course, but I mean it was kind of romantic. It was like rock and roll. It wasn't something like right now, because right now modern youngsters, their values, it's wealth, it's money. It's like who has a better phone. We didn't have it in our times. Okay, maybe in some parts, but I mean we had different values, because in 90s there wasn't 90s it was special, actually a special time, because in previously before 90s it was USSR, and everybody were equally poor, and it was totalitarianism government, and our country had totalitarianism. So in 90s we acquired freedom, but people, they still were poor. And that's why when people, they are not too wealthy, most of the people, they seek values in different places. So they seek values in freedom, in books, in culture. In USSR it was the same. So 90s, people from 90s and youngsters from 90s, they get values from USSR, some of values. And modern youngsters, it's not about children and son problem I'm talking. It's not like I'm telling that all modern children, they are kind of bad. No, I mean in Russia we have this system. I mean in other countries, for example in the Netherlands, when I talked with students, when I talked with people, I saw in their eyes, I speak to them a lot when I live there, and Dutch youngsters, they do not have this wealth. Some of them maybe like 10%. In every culture it's like normal distribution, but most of the Dutch youngsters, they actually had more on their mind than just get expensive car. While modern youngsters in Russia, it's kind of cult. It's cult of wealth right now. It's mainstream. That's why I'm not sure. Maybe it's the same thing in USA, for example, because it's also actually USA and Russia. It's very similar countries in a lot of different ways. USA and Russia, with modern Russian government take a lot of stuff from USA, how USA system works. For example, recently we had foreign agents law. So if you are a journalist and you get some grants from outside of Russia, you become foreign agent and your life become very hard. And our government uses this law actively right now to press freedom of speech in Russia, to suppress it. It's a very sad story, but yeah, actually they took the idea from USA, because in USA there is such law. It exists like from 30s, almost 100 years it exists there. So I mean, it's just one example. Just look at the countries. USA, it's a huge country which actually consists of a lot of small countries. Every state, it's a country with different laws and other stuff. And Russia, it's also a huge country with a lot of different areas. And in some areas, like for example Tatarstan or some Siberian regions, they have special ethnos, ethnic people who live there, and they have in their own language. So, I mean, we also have these states, but the thing is that we do not have very good federalism because we are a very young country and it's not ready yet. But I think in future Russia will take a lot from USA system, and it's kind of will be very similar countries. They're already similar in a lot of ways, but you could say that Russia, it's USA like 100 years old USA. So USA 100 years old, when the depression comes, it's kind of modern Russia. Yeah, but with some special features. You didn't have Putin. Yeah. So, and let's go back. So I'm not sure. Would I like my children, for example, to live outside of Russia or not? I'm still, one part of my soul says, of course, they should live outside of Russia so they wouldn't meet this totalitarianistic approach, which we actually happen right now in Russia. And in Russia, this country becomes very dangerous because of this special system when police and then, yeah, actually most of the people in Russia, they're afraid of police very much because you could be just in wrong place in wrong time. You could be get to police department, there you will be tortured, and you could end your life in very sad way, and no one guaranteed against it. No one has, everybody has the chance to be victim of police or some other problems. So it's actually the far it goes, the worse it becomes. So yeah, I'm thinking right now to move out somewhere. As I'm artist, it's hard to do, but yeah, I'm thinking because this strong government, it's not always good for regular people. I mean, okay, maybe Putin has his own ideas about war, about getting surround pieces of USSR, get it back, like Ukraine, Belarus, all this geopolitics. But for just regular people, chances of being tortured, they become high and high every day. And yeah, a lot of people, they want to move, among young people especially, want to move somewhere if they could. So yeah, it's in this atmosphere, yeah, I'm thinking twice before getting child in this country, yeah. But still, the good thing about being born in Russia, that you get this experience, your life experience. And okay, considering my children, let's move to other topic, to me, to myself. I'm not sure, even though, yeah, it's dangerous, it's kind of not a very high quality of life in Russia, but still, it's big experience, big life experience, and without it, I wouldn't be myself. I wouldn't exist in this state which I'm existing right now. So, what I could say. Of course, we have some other good things, like I said, you could become a very rich person in Russia in different ways. But in most cases, you have to make unfair things to do so. Not always, but yeah, it's kind of a young country. So, Russian language and big life experience. It's the most important things, biggest pluses. Also, that actually it's a very beautiful country with rich culture, a lot of beautiful places, beautiful nature. This country really huge, so you could look for a lot of interesting things as a tourist. And when you local person here, it's much better than when you're a tourist, because people in all different corners of the country, they will look at you like at local person, and they will share with you their thoughts, their life experience. When you will be a person from abroad, it's much harder to get into fair, honest conversation. So for me, of course, it's the biggest advantage. It's culture. So language gives you a possibility to understand culture. Living in this country gives you possibility to understand its culture, because it's very complex country. It's a very complex country. It's not like, maybe after I told you about tortures, you become afraid, but actually it's not high chance to get some problems on the street. You have to be just careful not to drink alcohol, not to go when it's dark. Be careful. This will lower your chances very much, but still there are some chances that you will get in trouble. So in big cities, these chances they are lower. But actually, it's all coming back to like Tsar's Russia. So Russia, which we had before Lenin's revolution, before communists. Modern Russia, it's kind of a mix of Russian Empire of end of the 19th century and mix of USSR. So it's kind of hybrid system with government and capitalism and with totalitarianistic features from USSR. I'll say like this. At the same time, we have kind of open borders. We have freedom of speech, some kind of freedom of speech in internet at least. Of course, you could be pursued by government if you are talking some bad things over internet. You could get problems, especially if you are talking some rubbish words, some bad words toward some famous people, politicians, which I'm trying to avoid. So you could be in trouble. But it was the same 100 years old. In Tsar's Russia, it was the same. So interesting thing about living in Russia, that if you live even in modern Russia, you could feel this country how it was existed 100 years old. So it's like time machine. When you live in Russia, you live in the 19th century, not 21st century, like some other people live. You feel everything around, by the way, very modern. I mean, our IT, if you have at your phone thousands of different delivery services, like grocery, food, everything you will get very cheap and with free delivery in Russia. We have very cool bank services, like everything in your smartphones, where it's, I think, one of the best world's IT banking. It's Russian, modern Russian. So actually it's very strange place. Russia, it's very steampunk place, because we have a lot of things which is better than in other countries, especially in big cities. But at the same time, spirit of Russia, which we have, it's very like old school. It's from Tsar times. Putin, it's Tsar. It's not a president. And the system which he built, it's not modern governmental system. It's feudal system. He took his close relatives and friends and he gave them immense wealth and power. And they become his feudals. They become his duchess and marquises, grafs. I mean, it's like new aristocracy in Russia. So it's very interesting experience again. If you like Pushkin's times, if you like Pushkin, if you will come back to Russia, you will read Pushkin, being in Russia, and you understand that everything stays the same as it was, with some additional surpluses, like, okay, we have more freedom of speech and internet, but at the same time, system itself become more totalitarianistic in terms of all these former KGB guys, which kind of rule the country. So it's quite balanced system right now. And even though I am as a part of society and I am a very liberal person, even though I feel that for me it's not very safe in Russia to stay, because I am not the majority, I am minority, I am liberal person, and liberal persons in most cases they become pursued by government. And yes, every day your chance to go to jail, it increases. Just not because you made something bad, but just because you are you're like a person who think wrong way, who think not like they think, who are dangerous, like foreign agent. Yeah, even so, it's kind of actually the chances that something will go wrong with you. Right now there's the same like 100 years old. 100 years old, okay, let's go a bit bigger, because 100 years old it was already Soviet Russia at the start of it. Like 150 years old, the chances, if you were a liberal person, to have some problems, it was like the same as we have right now. So Russia right now, by spirit, by soul, like this country, it's kind of very conservative country. I know that a lot of people, they like Putin from like foreigners. People from USA, a lot of people like Putin. A lot of people like conservative approach. Like a lot of people, they do not like gays, for example, or lesbians, such stuff. And they think, oh, Russia is the best place in the world because kind of official position towards gays, lesbians, it's very conservative, and there are laws which forbids to make some these gay prides on the streets or something like this. But by the way, I just want to disappoint you a bit, friends, that actually Russian government, like Putin, it's people, they themselves, they are very liberal people. And among our government, there are several gay people. Everybody knows that they are gay, but they officially didn't make coming out, and they stay at very high places on the hierarchy. I mean that Putin, he is not stupid. He's very smart. He's a very smart person, and he do not have these prejudices towards gays or something like this. I mean, it's just a position of our country that people, they shouldn't, if you are gay, you shouldn't talk about it. You could be gay, okay, it's your personal life, but you shouldn't be open in your stuff. And I wouldn't say that I really hate it. I think it's a bad thing for these people if they do not have right even to say something. But even though, because I know some people from non-traditional sexual orientation, they are nice people. They're like good people. It's good to communicate with them. I'm not, how you call it? I'm not conservative person, okay. But still, for example, I do not like when in modern films, in Hollywood films, the superhero films, there appears like mushrooms after the rain, appears a lot of gay heroes. I think it's a bit stupid when it's become mainstream. I mean, okay, of course, gay people, they exist. They always were there, but it's actually, I just don't understand why it should be mainstream. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not against these gay prides. It's all right with me, okay. But for example, I'm not sure that Russian people, majority of Russian people, they are ready for it. For example, even if Putin, he is quite open-minded person, though majority of Russian people, they are against gays. They kind of aggressive toward gays. It's how it is in Russia. So actually Putin, he feel Russian men. Putin, he feel the Russian soul very good. So that's why he's for so long time he ruling the country, because he understand what people want and he give it to them. And actually, yes, a lot of Russian people, they want war. Not a lot, but like 30% or something like this, maybe 20. They want, they do not want to participate in it. They do not want their children to go to the war, but they want to win. They want to have some hybrid wars, like in Syria, something like this, like Kremlin, like Crimea. When Russia took Crimea from Ukraine, like more than half people in Russia, they were happy about it, because we didn't lost any soldier and we get huge piece of land which had Russian-speaking people there. So yeah, I do not know why we went to this spot, toward this direction, political, but okay, why not? I just wanted to I want to go back. So what I could say, actually, I do not want to panic you, to say that, oh, okay, Russian is super dangerous right now, I must run from it immediately. No, I just want to say that when you live here inside, you feel these small steps towards USSR 2.0. So second version USSR, Putin creates it right now. It's based on foundation of Russian Empire, not USSR, but Russian Empire. So he make synthesis, he make hybrid country. And as I am liberal person and I'm European person, I feel it like this, my values, I have European values, freedom of speech, freedom of your, like, for me, life of the people, it's more important than some piece of land. I am against war, I'm anti-militarist person. But I understand that currently most of the people, they live in different world, not in world which I live. And countries, governments, they always compete between each other. So government in Russia, it competes with government in Europe and USA, and this government, they all has dirty hands. USA has hands in blood. Europe has hands in blood. In Russia too, all countries. So they all kind of the same. But some countries, they hide it better than others. So all governments in every country, they are very cruel. And they all want to be totalitarianistic, but they can't because, for example, in Europe, citizens, society, it doesn't give possibility for government to become totalitarianistic and to get control over people. In Russia, our society, it gives, we gave Putin mandate to rule. So, he took it and we didn't protest versus it. So it's how it is right now. So I understand how this system works and I live in this country. I might not like a lot of decision. I might not be happy and I might want to go to the Netherlands. But at the same time, I understand that people who rules Russia, they have their own vision on the country development. They want to restore Russian Empire. They want to restore USSR. It's their meaning of life. It's their purpose. They feel it like this. So I can't do nothing with it. The only thing which I feel that every day, I feel that it becomes harder and harder for me personally to breathe here. Because yes, I am afraid. I am afraid that something bad could happen to me. It's very low probability, but even this very low probability, it raises every day a bit by bit. 0.0001% per day go high, and I do not like it. But still, it's kind of the same as it was 150 years ago in Russian Empire. In this feudal country, it was the same. And at the same time, we still much less totalitarianistic than USSR. USSR, it was totalitarianistic country for real. And modern Russia, it's kind of even not a half of USSR totalitarianistic. It's very light mode, easy mode. Still, yeah, as I get used to the freedom through 90s, which I was a youngster, I get used to the freedom. For me, when government take even small part of freedom, it's very painful for me personally. So it's what I feel right now. So getting back to the topic of our video, cool thing about being born in Russia, it's to, especially in these interesting times, it's huge life experience and understanding how things works. Not in Russia, not only in Russia, but in all the world. Because in Russia you see everything very openly, while some, for example, stuff made by USA government or European government, they hide it very much. In Russia it's kind of open and it's kind of almost the same. So less control over governmental by society, so everything become openly and you just get this life experience. It's interesting, it's a cool thing. And of course some people who like conservatism, some people who do not like liberalism, some people who do not like gays, something like this minority stuff, they will be happy in Russia, I think, yes. But still be ready that you have some chances of getting problem. Small chances, but you have it. maybe in USA and Europe you also have these chances from opposite side. For example, if I heard right now news from USA, it's very funny, that person who burned LGBT flag, he get 15 years in prison. Drunk person, stolen flag, piece of cloth, LGBT flag, he stole an LGBT flag from like territory nearby this church. He stole this flag, he burned it, and he get 15 years in prison. I'm sorry, but in Russia, people do not have such cruel punishments, by the way. So what you could say, when I hear such news from USA, I'm thinking that maybe in Russia actually it's not so bad. Okay, we have not the best police. We are very young country. We have our own problems, but these things, when person steal piece of cloth, it's not even governmental flag, it's not USA flag, it's flag of some organization, LGBT. 15 years, I mean, okay, 6 months of working, making some obligatory works, maybe in some LGBT center, like he must be cleaner, something like this. So this guy, he will become sober and he will have some fair punishment. But 15 years in prison for this, it's kind of very stupid. In Russia, we have also something like this sometimes, but not so much. I didn't heard about a person who get 15 years for burning piece of cloth. No, it's kind of not possible here. Sorry, it's funny. So yeah, it's very strange thing actually. What's better, what is worse? A lot of different factors, and even though we have internet and access to all information, we do not have time and strength to get through this information, through all facts, and compare them. It's a very hard job, and yeah, we should do it actually. So yeah, for myself, I don't think I would. If I had the choice, I wouldn't choose another country to be born. Even though, yes, Russia, it's a country of suffering, I'll say. Because even being on the street when it's minus 30 degrees cold every winter it's like one day when it's minus 30. Most of the time it's minus 10, minus 20, but it's strong wind sometimes, so this minus 10 with strong wind, it becomes like minus 50. When people come from Siberia to Moscow, it's interesting fact. In Siberia, they have minus 40, minus 50 at winter, and it's normal. When these people come to Moscow, they say, how you live in this Moscow with this wind? Because in Siberia, we have like minus 40, but we do not have any wind. So this Siberian minus 40, it's like minus 5 in Moscow with the wind. So wind, it's the biggest problem actually, not the temperature. So yeah, Pushkin, Gogol, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, all our great writers, they get their poetry and their stories, their books, they wrote it because they lived in this country. They suffered together with all the people. Of course, it's not always suffering, but it's part of life of any Russian person. You suffer a lot, you have a lot of joy too, you have very good weather, you have very bad weather, and it gives you big range of emotions, big amount of experience, life experience, and it's very good thing. Sometimes you could be very unlucky and you could go through very rough stuff. For example, I was beaten on the street for nothing, but I wasn't beaten to the pulp. I mean, it was bearable. But sometimes you could have real big problem. You could get through the tortures, for example, when some people, they could torture you for real, like in Middle Ages, like in Inquisition, and it's right now. In USA, you also have like, they have in USA this prison, Guantanamo, like this, like prison when they actually torture people. So it's kind of the same, I think. But they torture not random people. I think they try to torture terrorists. But in Russia, people, this police, it wouldn't torture you also just as random. But you could be in bad place in bad time sometimes. Small, slim chance, but it could happen to you and you will be broken. So it's the problem. I think it was existed the same things. It was existed all the time, like in Middle Ages. In 150 years old, there were also bandits. Like right now we have bandits, or we have this police. So, yeah, Russia has its own risks, has its own benefits. It's a very complex place. And yes, it's very old school and conservative at the same time. Please tell me, what do you think? How it's in your country? Would you like to be born in Russia or in some other country? Would you change your life for life in some other place? Let's discuss it. Have a good day. Bye-bye.